Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. There is big news concerning Germany and the Ukraine. Germany will deliver 100 howitzer 2000 or tank howitzer 2000 as it is called in English to Ukraine. I talked about this weapon system before. It is very effective, very high tech, and in fact 10 of them are already in action in Ukraine right now. Germany has delivered already over a month ago, I think, 10 of these fine pieces of German machinery. So in today's video I want to talk about this new development. What does that mean? What does that mean, 100 of these guns for Ukraine? And some of the confusion that arose when people were, well, kind of talking in a misleading way about this weapons deal. And I also want to talk a little bit about the systems that are already there. Alright, I already indicated that there was some really bad communication, some ineffective, false communication. Either it was because of sloppiness or it was deliberately done so. Anyway, a lot of people misunderstood the nature of this deal. So, the German government needs to give green light for production of these systems and for the export of these systems. Whenever these weapons deals are done, the German Ministry for the Economy, I believe it is, right now this minister is Mr. Habeck from the Green Party, mind you, they have to sign on these deals. And this is what happened now. So a lot of these clickbaity headlines, like mine here on the thumbnail of this video, they gave people the wrong impression. They thought that these machines are waiting in some kind of military depot and we just need to get them to Ukraine and next week they can start the training and they can start using them or something. No, of course not. The only thing that is happening now is that the producer, that is Krauss Maffei Wegmann and Nexter Defense Systems, KNDS or something like that, the only thing is that they are allowed to start producing these machines right now. And then once they're produced, they are allowed, or the Ukraine is allowed to buy them and the German company is allowed to export them there. And that is very important to understand. So a lot of the confusion that arose around this deal was originating, I believe, in some phrases and some words that were used. For example, that Ukraine buys this now, right? Or a sale is taking place. Well, this is not really a sale and they're not really buying anything yet, because buying means one party gives money and the other delivers goods or services. And none of this has been happening yet, and it will not happen for a long time. The only thing is that there is an order or an intent to buy these systems in the future, and the company, I think, will start producing them soon. But we have some experience as to how long it takes until these machines are actually done, because the German Bundeswehr was also outfitted with them. And back then, for the between 1 and 2, I think it was 180 units or something, it took many, many years. So right now the estimations are, that I've heard, that the first batch would arrive, if everything goes according to plan, would arrive in Ukraine in 2024, so in about 2 years, and the last batch would arrive in 2027, so in 5 years. And the question that arises now is, does that still have an impact on the conflict in Ukraine? I mean, if you assume that this conflict goes on for as long as the one at the Hindu Kush or the one in the Middle East, in the Levant, then it'll take like 10 years or something like that. And yeah, then it still makes an impact, of course. But if you think that in 1 or 2 years everything is over, yeah, then they're definitely arriving there too late. But there were some better articles also and some better headlines. Some of the articles, they gave the wrong impression in the headline, but then in the body of the text, at least, they clarified. And I think this is very bad, because these days, and I do that too sometimes, you only read the headline or the subheader and you don't really bother with the body of the text. I know this is bad, but you just don't have the time or you're not that interested, but you still read the headline and that kind of sticks in your head. So I think this is really bad. bad journalism. This is very bad style when you try to give a false impression in the headline for clickbait reasons or something. And then there were some articles who were clearly just absolutely giving the wrong impression. But then there were some where they really tried to stress the fact that this is just an order or an intent to buy, and they just started to produce. And one article actually gave then the estimated arrival time or delivery time, this time window 2024 to 2027. And I think that is very good if you write it like that. But a lot of people in Berlin, lots of politicians, they talked a lot of nonsense, and a lot of people really got the wrong impression. And that was clarified like a couple of days later. I think 3 days ago there was a lot of BS news about it, and in the last 2 days they tried to roll back and clarify and explain and say, wait, nothing is yet produced. I mean, they're just starting to make them, okay? All right, so what about the 10 units or the 10 Panzerhaubitze 2000 that are already seeing service in Ukraine on the Ukrainian side? Well, some of them, I heard, are already in need of repair and they need replacement parts. And the German media wrote about it. I have no idea if that is true, but they said that the Ukrainians, they have been using them outside of the specs, as I would phrase it. Of course, that phrase wasn't used in the article, but what they said is that they're using a higher firing rate than what the machine is specified for or what is recommended, and they also use it at higher ranges. And I'm not an artillery specialist or something, but maybe you would use more propellant or something. I have no idea. But maybe the Ukrainians have strategic or tactical reasons for which they are doing this. And then it is very clear that then they need service, or at least you run the risk that something will show wear and tear or even break, and then you need replacement parts and service mechanics, of course. Germany has a pledge that they would send these replacement part packages as soon as possible, and also people who can service these machines. And then there is another thing. I heard that these anti-aircraft, how do we call them actually? Because I will get angry comments again if I call it an anti-aircraft tank. In Germany it's called Flakpanzer, these Gepard self-propelled anti-aircraft guns, I think one can call them in English. Yeah, initially there was a problem finding the right ammunition for this machine because Switzerland produces that ammunition apparently, and the Swiss said that no, we're neutral, no way, we're gonna send that to Ukraine. And then the Germans made a deal with Norway that Norway can produce this ammunition, because apparently it's impossible that Germans can do that, right? So Norway is delivering now the ammunition for this anti-aircraft thing, and now the Germans, when they did some testings in Germany with it, they noticed that some of the ammunition from Norway is not recognized or is not suitable for this gun now. So now they need to modify the ammunition, and then in August, then they will receive in Ukraine, they will receive the right ammunition for these anti-aircraft guns. Alright, so you see, Germany does actively support Ukraine, but there are of course issues here and there, and when these things are communicated in the media, it's not always clear to everyone what is actually going on. So some people say we're doing too much, and then when you look closely, you see that Germany is not doing that much. In fact, especially the Polish, they are complaining now about Germany, about this Ringtausch, this ring exchange, where the Polish have delivered now, I think it was older Soviet style equipment to Ukraine, and Germany was supposed then to deliver newer things, or that Poland can buy newer equipment from Germany, and that takes too long for their taste. So there is a lot of complaining now about Germany's role here, and as I said, there are these different camps. Some say we shouldn't do anything at all, and some say that we should do everything we can and get that stuff there as soon as possible. Anyway, so that is a partial summary, at least, of the German war efforts in Ukraine, or the contributions of Germany at least. But the question is, of course, because will these howitzers, for example, will they be produced at all? Because if we don't have any gas anymore and if we don't have any electricity anymore, then how can we produce these machines in the first place? So maybe none of them will be delivered after all. I don't know. Servus, Kameraden.